Hey, I'm Teresa, and I've been a solo mom for over a dozen years and an observer of the human condition for more than 40. And today I'm going to be talking about how to actively turn your mom guilt into your best friend. And I'm going to share the story of my most recent mom guilt. And we're going to discover what forgiveness has to do with the guilt you feel today. And you have mom guilt, I know you do, and you don't know what to do with it, but I do know. And I'm going to share that with you today. So, buckle up, Buttercup. We're going on this ride together. This is the second of a three-part series on how to take the ouch out of mom guilt and instead make it your best friend. Really. But if you missed part one, here's the thing, it's critical that you see part one. You need that information because we talk about guilt and we come to an understanding of what guilt is, and if you don't understand the problem, then you're not going to solve it. So that's what part one is all about. And if you want to click on the little link up here, I'll put a link. You can click there and you can get to that video. And at the end of that video, I will put a link back here again. Okay, so don't worry. You can get right back here again. No problems. So first things first, let me bare my heart and share my most recent story of mom guilt. So this story takes place in July of this year. This is just a few months ago from the filming of this video. And to understand this story, you need a little bit of context. And the context here is that I had just spent 3 months searching for, finding, purchasing, and moving into our new home, this new home, while at the same time working a stressful real world job, which I do have, and solo parenting, and I don't have a family that lives anywhere nearby, so I don't have that like day-to-day support in life. And because I'm the kind of person who just dreads paying someone to do a job that I could have done better myself and I could have saved all that money. Can you relate? Are you like that? Okay. I tend to do too many things that I should probably be outsourcing, like moving an entire household one van load at a time. Why was I doing that? Oh, we are our own worst enemies sometimes, aren't we? So, anyways, we're finally all moved into the new house, and there's still boxes of things lying around everywhere and shelving units. There's a TV that has to be mounted to the wall and just things that have to be done, like shelving units I have to put up on a wall. You get the idea. So, it's a Saturday morning, and I'm feeling motivated to get things done. Apparently, I've had coffee, caffeine is flowing, and I knew I had about 2 hours before I had to drop Leela off. So she's my only child. She's 14. And I had about 2 hours before I had to drop her off for a week-long trip. She goes on a week-long trip once a year with her father. And they were traveling to another state to visit his family. I wasn't going to have any help to get anything done in the house while she was gone. So I had this one set of shelves that I wanted to mount to the wall above my desk in the living room. And it's a 2-person job. And so I'm rushing, trying to get that done and make sure pets are taken care of and Leela's all packed for the week and everyone's fed and all of the things. And so Leela helped me get those shelves up, right? And we get the shelves up, we do everything, and we load up the van and with her bags, right? And we head 5 miles down the road to the place where her father picks her up for visitations. And in all of this, I'm sort of sensing from Leela a kind of openness, but I'm busy and I'm not really paying attention. And it's one of those mornings where it seems like we don't even look each other in the eye, right? I forget to give her a hug that morning, but those mornings happen. This is real life, okay? Sometimes you just have to push and get things done, and that's okay too. So anyways, we get to the parking lot and we're just talking about whatever. And I can sort of feel Leela slowing down. She seems to be in a waiting pattern or a holding pattern somehow. And then her father shows up and it's time for her to go. And she looks at me so softly and wistfully. And she smiles in this way I've never really seen before. And she seems almost tender. And I wish her a good trip and, finally look her in the eyes. She turns to say goodbye and then she leaves. off to her trip, and I think, maybe she's really going to miss me this week, you know? Maybe this is some new teenage thing. I don't know. I've never seen her look at me like this before. Y'all, it was her birthday, and I had forgotten. Yeah. That still hurts. Like, I didn't even realize I had forgotten until a couple of hours later when it hit me like a bolt of lightning, just like searing straight into my heart. Oh. I mean, okay, in my defense, I want to say, like, we had already celebrated her birthday, okay? So I knew that she was leaving the morning of her birthday, so we'd already celebrated. We'd had her best friend over a couple nights before, and the weekend before, she had gone on like what's called a discovery flight, which is for people who are interested in aviation or flying. So she got to go up. I, paid for her, and I got to go up in the same plane. We went up in this little plane with an instructor, and she got to like take over the controls for a good part of it. It was so cool. It was like the best thing ever, and probably not as expensive as you're thinking. So, anyways, it was awesome. And so we had done things like that. Was her big birthday present for me, right? So I mean, I hadn't really forgotten her birthday, but I mean, I had forgotten her birthday. And it was just something about that look in her eyes that morning. That's what killed me, you know? Like, she's my only kid. I'm a solo mom. She's my person. We're really close. How could I have forgotten? Okay. But I did, and it still hurts. So, if you watched part 1 of the series, then you're going to know that I'm glad that it hurts. It should hurt. And guilt is what helps keep us human. Okay. So it's all good. But it is super important to turn and face the feeling of guilt and not let it fester in the dark. So today we're going to look at 3 strategies that you can use to turn your mom guilt into your best friend. And you should know that overcoming guilt, these strategies we're going to look at today involve your past, your present, and your future. So let's start with your past, and that's going to be strategy 1, and it's forgiving your own parents' shortcomings. Why? Okay, here's the thing. When you carry resentment toward your own parents, you subconsciously will expect your children to do the same to you. Yeah. Resentment toward your own parents or your grandparents or whoever raised you it's going to bleed over into your own parenting, and it's going to cause you to believe that any shortcomings that you have as a parent are grounds for your own children to resent you. And of course you fall short of the parent that you want to be. We all do, right? And of course you have mom guilt. But when you can't or won't forgive your own parents, it turns guilt over your own shortcomings and failures into this monster. Okay, so how do you go about forgiving your own parents? Well, realize that your mom or your dad or whoever it is you have these feelings about, they were just a person. Just a person, okay? They were a broken person with their own fears and desires and dreams and hopes and shame, secret longings. They were a person, okay? Your parents did what all parents do, which is their best. And it may not have been enough. It may have been incredibly little, okay? Like, it maybe their best for you was to give you up for adoption. Like, I don't know. I don't know your story, right? Maybe their best for you was to never be in your life because they knew they were just too unhealthy and selfish to be around a child. I don't know. But whatever they did, it was their best, even if it wasn't enough. And look, I want to be crystal clear here. I want to be very clear, okay? Forgiving is not the same as forgetting, and forgiving should never be about excusing abusive behavior, or even worse, just like allowing it to continue to go on. That is not what I'm talking about here, okay? But there's a huge difference between ending the poisoning of your own heart, okay, through resentment by just finally letting go and forgiving, and endorsing abuse. Those are 2 very different things, okay? So to help forgive your parents, you can ask yourself, what were the limiting circumstances they were working with? I mean, what past trauma did they have? Like, you don't need to talk to your parents about this. You don't have to like involve them in the process of forgiving them. That might not even be a safe option, right? Like, they may have passed away. My mom passed away 10 years ago, right? So like, if I need to continue to work through any like issues that I had with my upbringing regarding her, she's not going to be part of that. Okay. So what's really important here is that you do the work in your own heart. Okay. And that you start to make the transition toward gratitude for whatever it is they did give you, even if it wasn't enough, even if the only thing they ever gave you was the donation of their genetic material, right? And I mean, that allowed you to live. That was something. And you are here. And your life has meaning and value. And so I'm glad you're here, right? Okay, so those 3 things, that was heavy. You know what? The past can be. Sorry, that one thing was heavy. The past can be heavy. But now we're going to switch to the present moment, and we're going to talk about strategy number 2, which is assessing yourself fairly in the same way that you just did with your parents. Now it's time to take a realistic assessment of your circumstances, your real life circumstances, right? Listen, what you're doing is hard, all right? It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a parent, like, here's the thing, nothing worth doing is easy. And that's why parenting is not easy, because it's the most worthwhile thing you're ever going to do. It's so important. It's so impactful to the lives of your children. And so what does that look like for me? So for me, I'm going to take a realistic look at like what was surrounding me the day I forgot my kid's birthday, did not wish her happy birthday, did not give her a hug. Okay. And I'm going to look at it as if I was a neutral person, right? Like, no blame involved. Just take a look. What are the circumstances? So what were the circumstances? Well, I was still kind of moving, right? I still had things at our old apartment that we had lived at for the 9 months before we came to this house. I have a stressful job. The things I talked about already. I'm a solo parent. Oh, also I have 2 kittens and a dog, because why would you not throw kittens into the chaos when you're moving? I don't know. Like, that's what I do. Isn't that what you do? Okay. So I had 2 kittens and a dog and all the things, right? Groceries to buy, bills to pay, things to clean, cooking. I was still messing around with the old apartment, trying to get that ready. I just had too much on my plate, okay? And that happens to us all sometimes. And look, if I hadn't forgotten my daughter's birthday, I would have forgotten something else important. Something was going to fall through the cracks. There were cracks. I was trying to carry too much. You know, the thing is, real life circumstances, they matter. And we don't want them to matter, but they absolutely do. And they do affect your parenting. And I can look back on my past as a parent. I've been doing this for 14 years now, parenting. And I can see how at times I was just so completely overloaded. Like, just emotionally, mentally, physically. Like, she and I have been through a lot of trauma together. We've been through a lot. It's been a lot, okay? It's not just because I'm a solo mom. I mean, I had a lot to deal with on my plate, even when I wasn't. And really, it's just because I'm a mom and life is hard. And being a mom is hard because it's worth doing. All right? So far, you have work to forgive your parents and to understand what's happening in your own situation. And so the next thing that we're going to look at is maybe the hardest thing of all. Okay. And this one is number 3, forgiving yourself. All right. And notice that I say forgiving and not forgive yourself, because this is going to be an ongoing thing. Okay. It's important for you to know ongoing, all right, that you deserve grace because you have worth. All right. You are one soft-bodied person in a hard and difficult world. And you, just like your parents before you, you are doing your best. You may be doing more than your parents before you did. Maybe you're doing less. I have no idea, but you're doing your best, right? And if it's hard for you to forgive yourself, you might be lacking practice at forgiving. Can you forgive your parents? You might want to work on that. Okay. Can you forgive your child? You might want to work on that. Are you a hard-hearted person? Do you know what forgiveness is? It's freedom. Okay? That's why even when you like when you forgive, you feel inside of yourself suddenly light and airy and good and free, right? You're free of the burden of judgment that you've been carrying around. And if we're honest, listen, you're not capable of accurately judging anybody's situation, all right? Because you don't know their circumstances fully, not even your own kids, not even your own parents. Like you are not God, okay? Let God do the judging, all right? And let your heart do the forgiving, okay? So if those things don't apply and you're still struggling to forgive yourself, you're probably lacking in self-worth. And I was at one point in my life, and I can tell you that that's a poor example to set for your own child. Okay? You should work on that. And there are plenty of resources out there that can help you to figure that out, and lots of them are free, and many of them are right here on YouTube. Okay? So look those up. All right? So that's the end of the information that I'm going to share with you today, but there is more. I have 3 more strategies, and things get a little bit lighter in part 3 as we wrap this up. I'm going to share 3 more transformative strategies for changing your relationship to mom guilt, okay, and making guilt your best teacher and your mentor as a parent. All right, so questions. I love to answer them. If you have any, that's what the comment section is for, and you know where to find it, down there, okay? If you appreciate my insights today, while you're on the way down there, go ahead and like the video. It's the only way that YouTube knows if my content is any good or if they should serve it up to anybody else. And again, if you missed part 1, I'm going to include a link right here so that you can get back to the beginning of this playlist. It'll bring you back here, and you can also get to part 3. So I will see you there in part 3 of this series.